Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan, and only took us a week, but here we are, finally, game one of the Stanley Cup Finals. Only 3 weeks until the draft in Vegas. I mean, hell, 5 days until the boys' season 4 comes out. Got a lot of stuff to look forward to. And as we're recording right now, I believe Gary Bettman's meeting with the media down in Florida before the game starts. So might get some tidbits while we're recording the show. But where do you want to start? Do you want to do a preview of the Stanley Cup final and kind of do a wrap up on the conference finals?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. So it's the Edmonton Oilers versus the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final. Um, the series mirroring each other in terms of who won. That ended up playing out. Florida 1-6, the Oilers 1-6. The city is buzzing right now. Um, I always love seeing the superlatives of like when a Stanley Cup final happens. Like everyone's like, "Oh, this is the furthest travel between two cities in NHL history for a Stanley Cup final." You got the northernmost team and the southernmost team, and kind of all the narratives going back and forth of, oh, like Zach Hyman, he was drafted by Florida a while back, and now here he is in the Stanley Cup final playing against them. Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett being on Calgary, and now they get to face Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Finals on a different team. So there's all these kind of narratives, but I'm just looking forward to the games being played. I hate how long of a delay it is. I feel like I've been beating a dead horse over the entire season. How the NHL has done a scheduling. Like, I get it's such a long flight between Edmonton. I would guess that they land in Miami. Like, you're gonna need a few days off, regardless from the last series to finish to the Cup final for Edmonton to make their way there. But 6 days, do we really need that? But whatever. It could go on and on about that. But I'm really looking forward to this series because even though it seems like a majority of people are going Florida, I don't know. I feel this is 50-50 up for grabs. I still really don't know who's going to win this series, but I feel this has the potential to go 6 or 7 games, especially with the last few cup finals. Like last year, Vegas dominated Florida, and the year before that, Colorado Tampa was all right, but then the bubble cup finals, like with the ones at Tampa won, was kind of boring. Like I I want to see a 6-7 game series where all the games are close. We see multiple overtimes, and I mean, this has always been my biggest wish. I want to see a game 7 overtime. But what are your thoughts on the Stanley Cup final? What are you kind of looking forward to going into it?
To be frank, I'm really looking forward to Barkov versus McDavid. I don't think that's getting talked about enough. Sorry, I'm trying to send an email, but
Oh no, you're
I don't
good.
think that gets talked about enough. Honestly, Barkov has been absolutely locked down this entire postseason. He held Kucherov to 0 goals 5-on-5. Pastrnak 1 goal 5-on-5. Or no, I think Pasternak's also 0 goals 5-on-5, and then
Yeah.
Panarin is 0 goals 5-on-5. And I
Point
think
being,
the
he's
only
very good.
goal, yeah, no, he's just locked down right now. And Florida's a rare situation where it's like Vegas last year. They can go 4 lines deep on you, and Edmonton's getting scoring when they need from their depth. But I feel like their depth is going to be the big story of this series because if it's just McDavid and Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins getting it done, I think Florida's going to have more firepower in that regard. But also, Edmonton's got the voodoo on their side right now, so that's also another thing. Um, like I don't know. There's like two keys in this series for me right now. One of them being that if Knobloch decides to go back with Nurse Cece, do that at your own risk because I just don't see like you had success the other way around and now you want to go back to that. That just seems a little counterproductive to me. Um, like I know the Hawks did that back in the day when they go to game one, they go back to their OG pairings, but also like I don't know if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing. You know what I mean? And also I feel like at the end of the day, all eyes are on Stuart Skinner because Bobrovsky's been there. He's got a lot to prove as well. But I can honestly say Bobrovsky hasn't been the issue with the Panthers this postseason. And the Panthers play such a suffocating style of defense that, I mean, Edmonton makes their shots count. Don't get it twisted. They won the game
Mhm.
6 with like 10 shots or
Yeah,
something.
10 shots.
Yeah,
Unreal.
if they suffocate them, it's going to be fine. But it's just like you got to make those chances count if you're Edmonton. I think if they could steal one on the road, that'd be huge. I mean, I know both teams have performed rather well on the road this year, but I just think I think Skinner and the Oilers defense are going to be the game breaker in the series because obviously Florida's got a great power play. Edmonton's got a better penalty kill, arguably. Florida's got a great penalty kill, but Edmonton's got a better power play. I think special teams, they got an advantage, which is surprising enough to say.
Oh, I think 45 for 48 on the penalty. Absurd. I don't know how else to describe that. It's crazy.
Yep. It's a dynamite run. I think it's just going to come down to those three things. Can McDavid get past Barkov? And can they match him up to where he's not getting smothered? Can the Oilers' depth and defense step up to the plate? Because this is going to be a series where Florida's depth and defense is going to step up. I don't think I've seen a series where Florida's fourth line's been beat. And I can't say the same for Edmonton, but Edmonton's top six is what they are. It's just they will outscore you at will. And I don't know. I keep leaning back to Edmonton. I just think McDavid's never going to get this close again. You got to capitalize on that. But also, if Florida's depth becomes too much to handle, I could easily see Florida winning this in 5. It really, I need to see how Edmonton comes out tonight. Because if they come out weak and they come out flat, it's going to be a long series. You cannot give Florida momentum, straight up. So I want to say Oilers in 6, but I can also see Florida in 5. It really just depends on what we see tonight. The game's close. I think it's going to go 6 or 7, but there's just this thought in the back of my mind that Florida might just come out swinging, and Edmonton does not have the depth to handle that. They don't have the defensive structure to handle that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, to say the least, who shows up.
It's interesting it's interesting how you bring that up because that was kind of my thing. I feel like if the Panthers start off if they come out guns a-blazing here in game 1 and they take that and they take the first 2 on the road, I feel this could be a very quick series. And that's what I thought with the Oilers going to last series. If you were down 2-0 against Dallas going back into Edmonton, I just had a very hard time of them seeing them, win 4 or 5 or whatever they would have need to beat the Stars. I mean, that didn't happen anyways. They got a split playing in Dallas and they've looked very comfortable on the road, and being down 2-1, they won 3 straight. I feel if Florida's going to win this series, it's going to be quick. And for me, if the Oilers win this series, I think it's going to be it's probably going to go 6 or 7, but I mean, it could also go 6 or 7 and Florida could pull it out. So, yeah, looking at the goaltending, make no mistake about it, Bobrovsky is the better goalie, but the Stuart Skinner, man, you can say what you want about him, Matt, but in that Dallas series, they're really other than that Jason Robertson goal in game 3 to give them the lead, I think he looked pretty good in that series against the Stars, and he's felt like he's gone better. Game 6 was the game of his life. I think he stopped 35 shots, and if Stuart Skinner is like that in this series, the Oilers definitely got a chance. I mean, when you got McDavid and Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard and even Zach Hyman, I would even add Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in there. The way they're playing, I mean, their top is the best in the NHL. We've said this about the Oilers. They're such an enigma because we saw them at the bottom of the barrel at the beginning of the season, but when they're at their best, when you got to deal with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, all the guys I've mentioned, and their depth is, chipping in the odd goal every now and then, like Matthias Janmark, I think of with the shorthanded goal against Dallas, Connor Brown, I think they can hold their weight against Florida. The defense, I think that's kind of a wash. Oilers, again, they have Bouchard. Ekholm is very solid. I think Forsling is kind of the same as Ekholm, maybe a bit better, just being younger. And I mean, Ekblad and Montour, I think that's a wash there, but it could come down to goaltending, could come down to the main stars. I just think that, being here, McDavid is first time in his career. You never know when you're going to be able to get back. So I think he's going to come out strong. Same with Leon Draisaitl, obviously. But then the Panthers know they got demolished by Vegas last year. They know how hard it is to get back, and you wonder when they're going to get another chance. So I think we deserve 6 or 7 games, but man, the Oilers just seem like they got that magic. I got to go with the Oilers, and you know what? Fuck it. Oilers 7 overtime. Corey Perry scores the overtime winning goal to win the cup. Oh, by the way, Corey Perry, the only player in NHL history to go to the Stanley Cup final, 5 different teams. That was interesting.
Surely
Anaheim and then
all 5 teams.
Yeah. Yeah, he's yeah. I think it's because he went with Dallas and then Tampa. Like he won in
Montreal.
2007 with the Ducks, but he's lost 4 in a row now. So looking to break that. Well, I'm really looking forward to this series.
Yeah, me too.
Can't say that enough.
I just hope Edmonton doesn't come out flat-footed. That's my only fear.
Yeah.
Because they've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had that white hot win against Calgary 2 years ago. And it's like, man, who's going to stop them? And Colorado just curb stomped them in 4. And I have this gut feeling in the back of my mind that if they don't take Florida seriously, Florida's going to curb stomp them. So I don't know. Not the more I talk about it, the more I'm leaning towards Florida in 5.
Yeah, you could convince me to go either way. This is more going with my heart, but I want to see a championship in the city of Edmonton, and I think Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are going to go God mode.
We'll see.
Who do you think Conn Smythe pick for? Who's your Conn Smythe pick? I mean, if it's the Oilers, McDavid. Well, like I think Florida's a more interesting discussion with that.
Barkov.
Yeah, you could go Barkov. Kachuk. I don't know exactly what the points are, but yeah, I don't think you could go wrong with
Barkov leads the team in points, and he's been probably the best shutdown center I've seen in the modern era.
Oh, so he does have the most points. Yeah, then you got to give that to Barkov then.
I mean, if Forsling has another banger cup final, then
I was going to bring that. Maybe that's kind of a dark horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna just say, looking at the top and point getting, McDavid has 31 points. Again, there's still the chance I think he can break the record for most assists in the playoffs. I believe it was 33 by Wayne Gretzky. David has 26. So if he just keeps going, on the pace that he's going right now, and they go 6-7 games, he's gonna at least tie it. He'll have a shot at it, and if they win, he probably will break it. So. Leon Draisaitl has 28 points. Zach Hyman could still, again, if he has a good series, this goes 6-7 games. Like he could break record for most goals scored in a playoff or in a postseason. He has 14 right now. Evan Bouchard has 27. Like he's in historically great company with guys like I think Bobby Orr. I think I saw Paul Coffey, Brian Leetch, like some Hall of Famers, some all-time greats. And then Nugent Hopkins has 20 points, but yeah, the Panthers, Kachuk has 19 points, Verhaeghe 17 points, Barkov 17 points, and the Panthers, like they have more depth, but then Edmonton's top is the best. So I don't really know what much more else to say than that, but I'm looking for this series. But then there's also the part of me, it's like this goes 7 games. I think June 24th is the latest. Like if game 7 happens, it's June 24th. That's only a few days before the draft. So God damn it. NHL, do your scheduling better. I get the travel, like make it a 2-3-2 if you gotta do all this traveling. Oh my god, whatever. Unless you got any other things to say about the cup final, we can move on. Enough about these good teams. Let's talk about bad teams with the Blackhawks. Unless you got something more to say.
No, I'm all set. I'm just ready to see puck drop.
Yep, agreed with that. Only like an hour and 20. Well, with like anthems and stuff, it's probably more like an hour and a half away. So let's talk about. Well, since we've had a week off, there's been a lot of rumbling. It's that time of the year. Blackhawks have been linked to Jake Guentzel, and I think Elliot Freeman threw it out on his podcast, kind of jokingly, or not jokingly. I don't know if that's the right word. Where he's like, "Well, maybe there could be a fit there." Jake Guentzel's from the Midwest, and then I think only a couple days later he said that Carolina is looking to move Jake Guentzel's UFA rights for a mid-round pick. And obviously the big thing with the Blackhawks has been, we got to be patient, can't be spending money. But then you see today the cap's going up to $88 million. So even if you count, like, I think it's $4.5 million it's going up. Like if you just keep doing that steady for a few years, like even Bedard's contract won't be that much of a percentage of the cap if you're giving him like 12, 13 or whatever $1 million a year. So if they get like they give Jake Gensel a 6-year contract. Let's say they gave, I don't know, $10 million per year. That lines it up with Alex Vlasic. That lines it up with Seth Jones. And I mean, Bedard will have 8 years left. Like, yeah, it is a decent chunk of money, but what the hope with the Blackhawks is that you still have all these draft picks. You're gonna have guys coming up on ELCs, and not barely counting towards the percentage of the cap. Like, when are you gonna get the chance to get a player like this? What are your thoughts on Jake? Because Jake Gensel would be a perfect fit with someone like Connor Bedard. I don't know if he would necessarily want to sign with the Blackhawks, but then Freeman said that like he wants to be in the Midwest. If the Blackhawks give him a bunch of money, I mean, him playing with Bedard doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah, it really just comes down to what he wants because the Blackhawks can basically give him anything that he wants money wise.
Yeah.
From all the rumors, it sounds like Davidson's going to spend this offseason. This is a player who is point a game in the playoffs. He's been practically point a game every year since he stepped into the league. Just for reference, I mean, he had 52 and 50 with Pittsburgh last year, and then when he got to Carolina, it was 25 and 17. This is a guy who just puts up points. He gets pucks in the back of the net. People are arguing against it. I've heard comparisons to Tavares with the Leafs, and I don't know, man. At some point, you got to put legitimate talent on this team, and I don't care who they're drafting in the next 2 years. No one's going to be here to help Bedard until then. So I'm not trying to piss this player off going into his second contract. And what better way to make it especially if you decide to go defense. I can't. I don't see why you wouldn't give him that money. I think it's a little silly to think that you're above signing a point per game player. But hey, that's just me. Everyone's got their opinions on how they want this rebuild to go, but you got to start building around the team eventually. You just have to. And
yeah, if
I'll pay Gensel $9-10 million for 7 years if that means Bedard is going to have a legitimate point per game player on his wing and not Philip Kurashev. Nothing against Philip Kurashev. He had a great year in development this year. I just need legitimate talent on this guy's wing going forward.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, if not now, then when? You never know. Like, we look at the Oilers, like, even look at the Panthers. Like, how many years did they kind of spend in mediocrity? Like, they had guys like Barkov and Ekblad. They had there were a few years where they didn't make the playoffs and they didn't really have much support. And I mean, look at the Oilers. Yeah, you had McDavid. Yeah, you had Draisaitl. But what the hell else did you have? Like, you got to surround Bedard with legitimate talent, and not only him, like a lot of these young guys, you don't want to force Frank Nazar into a top 6 role if he's not ready. And I mean, I feel Gensel, Bedard, Kurashev would be a great first line because clearly Kurashev and Bedard have good chemistry, and I just think Jake Gensel playing with someone like Sidney Crosby for many years, like I don't see how he wouldn't be the perfect fit for Connor Bedard. Just looking at the point production, his worst offensive output year was 2017-18. That was his first full year, had 48 points in 82 games. But then after that, 40 goals, full 82 game season, 18-19. 19-20 year before COVID. It looks like he probably had some injury issues. 39 games played, but still 20 goals, 43 points. Shortened 2021 year, point per game, 57 points, 56 games, 21-22, 84 points, 76 games, 40 goals. The only year that he hasn't been point per game since like COVID is 22-23 when he had 73 points and 78 games. And then this year he had 77 points in 67 games. Like, just consistently a great guy. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs next year, but this guy is also a proven playoff performer. I feel you brought that up earlier. We bring it up a lot when talking about Jake Gensel, but 38 goals in 69 playoff games, nice, and 67 points. So he scores goals and like he's pretty much point per game player. Is there the possibility he might suck the last couple of years of the contract? I mean, if they get his UFA rights, they could potentially sign him 8 years, but like, say they sign him 6 or 7 and, he's kind of getting his mid-30s. Yeah, there's probably the possibility that he might not be great. But again, the hope is with you trade like even a 4th round pick, I don't know, 5th, 6th, whatever to get Jake Gensel's UFA rights. Like worst case scenario, he doesn't sign. You still have all these draft picks over the next couple of years, and I still don't really love the idea of them trading. I think 2 picks up to get 18th. I mean, you can argue about it, but at some point, like it's nice to have all these, mid-level prospects, but then you got to start adding quality and quantity. And I think with Kyle Davidson, like I heard that I think pick number 10 with the Devils is available, pick number 11 is available with the Sabres. So there's a possibility like they could trade for Jake Gensel's UFA rights, maybe go Lev Shunov at number 2, and then see whatever forward falls to 10 or 11 if they can move, because they still have all these draft picks and assets. Like you got to start making moves, and if you could even gonna start reaching in the later years, like you're still gonna have multiple first, like multiple set, like there's Davidson set them up so well. Like now you got to start using those assets to help out with now.
Yeah, have to. Like I said, it's a make or break off season for Davidson. The pressure from the front office is being felt. You can hear it from just the way these articles are being posted about them having to, kind of fish for a talent. Because if they're so hell bent on taking Lev Shunov, which is what all the reports are leaning towards right now, how else are you getting a top line forward in this system? Because I don't care if you think Nazar and Moore could be, they're not yet. This is a bona fide top line winger that for at least 4 out of the 7 years you're going to sign him potentially, he's going to be elite. And he's had a very brief injury history. Who's to say? And I don't know. His play style is going to last. That's basically what I'm trying to say. This isn't a guy who's a 6'5" power forward with an injury history going into his 30s. Like, worst case scenario, he becomes a 50, 60-point guy at the tail end of that deal, and you need those, and you need that veteran leadership once these kids come into the system. I don't see why you don't do it, in my opinion, but, he's going to go sign some loser to $6 million for 2 years because he doesn't want to commit, and then this whole conversation would be irrelevant. So,
well, I think obviously Danny Wirtz and Jamie Faulkner, they read what the fans say, or they take into consideration their decision. I mean, look at what happened with Chris Foster's and them replacing Rick Ball. We'll get on to more of that later, but obviously you got to see the fans. It was nice having those couple of years, just stripping it down the studs, getting some high. I mean, next year they're probably still going to get a top 10 pick, but I just don't you gotta at least try.
You can't bank on getting your top line forward next year. Mm-hmm. You just can't. And there's never going to be another time when there's a big fish free agent like that. I don't know. You have the money. That's all I'm going to say. You have the money. Bedard needs a winger. I'd much rather spend $9 million on Guentzel than take 2 swings on middling forwards and think that they're going to fit the role you need them to fill when you know this guy can fill that role.
Mm-hmm. Because if you go Guentzel, Bedard, Kurashev, and then I don't know, Taylor Hall, Frank Nazar, it just gives you more depth. It gives you more it just makes your team better. It's crazy. A guy like Jake Guentzel would make your team better.
It knocks a guy like Taylor Hall down to the second line, which is huge. It knocks whoever you sign in free agency down to the third line. It's going to give you depth by means of having a top line forward because you don't have to over ice people. Nick Foligno can be played in the bottom 6 and still put up points at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's a no-brainer personally, especially if Jake Gensel's far on the money. But if he wants to compete, then there's nothing you can do there, honestly.
Yeah.
I think money is what's going to have to talk here. And people aren't going to like the price that he'll sign at, but money, it's not your money. I don't know why y'all care.
Yeah.
We all got over the Seth Jones deal. I really could care less that he's making 9.5. If they give Guentzel the same
they
deal.
need that. They still, and that's the thing right now, they still have so much caps. They have 35? They have at least 30 million. I don't know the exact
33.
There you go. They say they even given $11 million per dollar. You still have $22 million to work with.
You'll have 41 million when Bedard's up for free agent for RFA. So you're telling, and I'm sorry, it obviously a lot can change in a year and a half, but there is not all these young players aren't getting $8 million on their second contract unless Korchinski takes a god tier step in year 2 or Nazar does. Like, I think it makes more sense to bridge these guys through their RFA years, then lock them up when, your cap situation's a little more solidified. Like, there's ways to work around this and still have Jake Gensel. I don't know.
And that's another point. That's such a great point. And that was because that was another thing I was kind of thinking of earlier. It's like, are you banking on all these guys just to have point per game seasons? I mean, if they do and they want that kind of money, like that's a good thing.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, but the reality is it's probably not going to happen. You're probably going to have to sign some bridge deals. Maybe you get some more Alex Vlasic deals. I mean, if Frank Nazar just pops off next year and legitimately comes, this first line, maybe not first line, but like a guy that gets you 60, 70 points and you pay him like $5-6 million, that's a good thing you want to do. I guess that's a later problem to figure out if somehow all of them just pop off and like you got to pay them like $7-8 million per year, but you never tomorrow's never guaranteed with this team. Like, go get an elite player like Jake Gensel.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And from the sounds of it, the trade market is not going to bode well unless it's a cap dump. So I don't know. It doesn't hurt to swing. That's all I'm going to say. It doesn't hurt to put a contract offer in. Like, people love to compare the Johnny Gaudreau situation. I don't think Columbus is mad at having Johnny Gaudreau in their system.
No.
I think they're mad at where the team is, but it's not because of Johnny Gaudreau. That's
not
sure.
his fault. Yeah.
Like, you think I can't see a world where that doesn't benefit guys that are coming up in Columbus like Ken Johnson when you have a Johnny Gaudreau on the team. I don't see how this would not benefit like an Oliver Moore getting to learn from Jake Gensel. And talk about making a young centerman's life easy when they get in the league. When you have a veteran like that you can put on their wing. Because Bedard at one point will be good enough where he can play on his own, obviously. He already is.
He can do that right now, yeah.
But when you get that luxury, you're going to be able to put a Nazar with the Gensel. Or put a Moore with the Gensel or something like that. I don't know. Makes too much sense to not at least try, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, there's the possibility that like they offer him over $10 million per year, like 6, 7, even 8 years if they trade for his UFA rights, and he doesn't want to sign with the team. That's fine. At least he tried. If you give up a 5th round pick, you boo-hoo. Like, they still have, I feel like they still have 20 picks over the next 2 drafts. I don't know the exact number, but they got a lot.
Yeah.
Can't use all of them on draft picks. At some point, you got to get quality. And I mean,
they did this last year. We know David's not afraid to do it. He did it to get Corey Perry last year. Like, if he sees a guy he wants, he'll take him off the market. So I don't know. And I don't see how the only person that would be against this, I think, is Davidson, just because it goes against his philosophy. But like, sometimes you have to put a wrench in your philosophy when, the lottery strikes and you have a guy, I don't know. Lightning's not going to strike twice is basically what I'm saying, unless you're Tampa a couple years ago. But that's it.
Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah. I see what you did.
Also, I meant to mention this earlier with the Oilers, but there's already been an example of the Oilers' strategy winning. The Lightning did it in 2021, or 2020. So, I can't say
it's
that.
crazy. You look at the 2020 Tampa Bay Lightning point distribution. It's basically the same as except the Oilers. Like, you do have Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, but it was the Lightning.
They had Andre Palat.
Yeah. Kucherov, Palat to Hyman is actually such a good comparison. But like Lightning had Point, Kucherov. I think they had 30 plus points, and then you had Hyman, and then the Oilers had David Draisaitl, Bouchard. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't know. And you're telling me paying Jake, another thing with Jake Gensel, it's like, you're telling me when this team's good and you don't want to pay him $9 million. You don't want that guy on your middle 6 in the playoffs when he gets older? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, that contract would be worth it first year. Jeez. And at the end of the day, I would say the thing I always say about this contract. It's not your money. Who gives a shit? Honestly. I want to see this hockey team win games. I don't care if it skews the rebuild. Dude, they're still going to suck. They're just not going to suck as much. They'll be at least entertaining.
Yeah.
And you won't piss off your young players for losing all the time. Because I'm sorry, that's a real thing. Look at Jack Eichel. We can't pretend like that's not a possibility. So, I don't know. I don't know. This is completely different than when the Oilers got Lucic. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, that 2016 free agent class, more like ass.
Not
Like,
great, Bob.
holy, yeah. But I mean, free agency this is not the sport where you build your team through free agency. But I would even look at the Panthers, like they signed Bobrovsky. I mean, it's a goalie; it's way different than signing a winger. But they signed a goalie to $10 million per, and he's been better more often than not. Like, is he worth every penny of that $10 million? Not necessarily, but they're in the Stanley Cup final. Like, they're at a point where you can't really care about the contract. You look at some like Artemi Panarin and the Rangers. I don't know if Gensel is quite on that level, but like he's not that far behind. It's just give him the bag. You know, build like if you still got all these draft picks, you're gonna get guys that are gonna come up on ELCs. Like you can't just have a completely clean slate of contracts. Like you gotta, yeah. I feel like I'm going in circles with bringing that up, but I think where you get killed with the free agency is these guys. Like again, just look at the 2016 class. I mean, all of them sucked. They're all in their like early 30s and were signed to 5, 6, 7 year contracts. But I feel those are the contracts that kill you, where it's like $5-7 million for guys who are at best maybe second liners or probably more like bottom six guys. But Jake Gensel has shown he's still a first liner, and again, cap going up, like that's probably what you pay a first line winger is $10 million, and he's a winger too. I don't think he has as much wear and tear as you think he would. So I've said my piece, and so sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm just like, so what would you rather do? Give Jake Gensel $10 million or give Chandler Stevenson 7.5 and then give someone else 4.5? Like, it's just like, you got to look at how you're going to divvy up that money eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather not pay 2 40-point players the money that I would give Jake Gensel. That's just what it comes down to. I don't care if it's depth. Like, you can get depth. That's so easy to get. Like, people are going to be throwing contracts away this offseason. You can get depth. That's not going to be an issue. You can't get top-end talent. You
can find another Taylor Hall trade. And I mean,
bingo.
Even just what they did with Nick Foligno and Corey Perry last year, they can do that too. Like,
it's not hard to get depth. It's impossible to get top-end talent.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in free agency.
Yeah. And that's the main thing. Like, just even looking at the Blackhawks this year, like they had guys that come up, like they're probably, I would think they re-sign a guy like Joey Anderson. Like,
I want them to. I actually really like Joey Anderson's game.
Yeah, they could sign him for, like, I hope that they go with Foligno, Dickinson, Anderson. That'd be a great third line to go with. And if you go like Gensel, Bedard, Kurashev, and then second line is, I don't know, Taylor Hall, maybe Frank Nazar takes a step. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the center solution. But if you think Nazar's ready, you can go like, hey, Hall, Nazar, Athanasiou, like maybe.
What easier way to make his job easier than get stacked up the wing? That's the easiest way to make this young center's job easy. And guess what? You can throw Gensel with Nazar. That's still a very possible concept that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
there's that too. It just gives you so much more option. Third line, you could run Foligno, Dick and your son, and Anderson. And the fourth line, like you got guys in Rockford, maybe not high end guys, but you could give Colton Dach a look. Like Cole Gutman had a great finish to the year. Like there's depth on the way. Just get high end talent.
Like,
to make a long story short,
if I have the pocketbook of the Blackhawks, I'm giving Jake Gensel that money. I'm going to go sign a guy like Dakota Joshua for my middle bottom six. Because even if he regresses, that's still going to give you a big body that can play great two-way.
That's a big-ass boy.
Like, you want to talk about having a shutdown third line? Let's go Dakota Joshua, Jason Dickinson, Joey Anderson. That's your shutdown line. And I don't think anyone's going to complain with that at all.
No.
Then that allows you to have, maybe like Reichel, Hall, Nazar on the second.
I forgot about fucking Lucas Reichel.
Dude,
there we go. There's
what an easier way to put pressure off Reichel and get the guy like Gensel.
Yeah.
Then he doesn't have to be that top line guy. He could be the second, third liner that you need to be. I don't know, man. Like if I had the keys to the castle, I'd get those two. I'd go get a defenseman like Tanev or Chatfield to go play with Korchinski, and then go get a third goalie and call it a day. Like I think this is the easiest offseason for the Blackhawks if they just play their cards right. And granted, if they don't get Gensel, there's still great secondary guys they can get out there. Like I would love Teravainen or DeBrusk or hell, if Marchessault would. I don't think he's going to leave now. That the
that's a dream. I feel Vegas is going to figure that out with Marchessault, but like I think Jake DeBrusk would be a great fit in Chicago, and I
100%.
feel Davidson would like his
That's a guy
kind
you
of
put
type
with
because
Nazar right there. That's a guy
Yeah.
you put with Nazar. Great on the power play, great underlying numbers. I like there's gonna
good
be
penalty killer apparently. Like he played a lot of. He was on Boston's. I don't think top unit, but like he got a significant amount of penalty kill time.
Yeah, I like I'm not worried if they don't get Gensel. I just think like the whole do it by committee besides Bedard thing. Like if you're not, here's the thing. I'm cool with going by committee if they're going to take Demidov because then you have that top end talent coming. It's just like, we need guys to stopgap it. But if they're going defenseman, dude, you have no fucking excuse. You need to go. You need to go sign a Gensel. You need to go find a way to trade for Zegras, who they're not even in talks with, which is ridiculous in my opinion. They don't have what they need to trade for Natchez, unfortunately, unless for some god reason the Canes want Seth Jones. But
Eric Tulski's first order of business, getting Seth Jones. I mean, they got some guys coming off the book with their defense. You never know.
Swap Pesci with Jones,
yeah.
Got the $17 million pairing of him and Orlov. Oh, it'd be amazing.
Oh my god,
dude, right? There's going to be names out there. I just really would like to see them shoot big once or twice. Another guy we haven't even talked about that I love is Tyler Toffoli, dude. Like I know you brought his name up a bunch this year.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you can't get a Gensel, go get a Toffoli because like. Not only is that great veteran leadership, that's a guy who's won Stanley Cups, knows how to play the right way. He's still a 30-goal scorer. You need those.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot stand the way this fan base talks like they have a luxury of not getting good players right now. Like, guys, it's okay if they don't suck at the basement anymore. And they're just like 8th overall bad next year. If that means like, we get 2 lines of entertaining hockey. Yeah, we're going.
All I want, man. I just want entertaining, better hockey. I don't expect this team to make. This team might not even barely get 30 wins next year, but just like they don't have to go too crazy. Like if you get Jake Gensel, there's your like I don't think you have to make any other forward moves besides maybe depth ones, and you can do that eternally. Then the defense
for that.
Yeah, that too. And like the defense, I just think you need one more right-handed shot. I've said this time and time again, but
they're drafting it.
I mean, yeah. Just like looking at the left side, it's pretty much set with Vlasic Korchinski. Why? I mean, you can go with Wyatt Kaiser, Ethan Del Mastro, Nolan Allen is still like they got guys there.
Right side.
Yeah, and I think they do go left shootout. I think that's changed a lot for me because I feel once like the draft lottery was happen, it's like, oh, they're gonna go Demidov just because he has high upside. But then you kind of hear over the year, Kyle Davidson. I think the front office got a lot of viewings of Artem Levshunov at him playing at Michigan, and just the way he interviewed, I feel fans are gonna love him. And I would like if they take him. Obviously, I want Demidov, but yeah, if you go Levshunov, you got to make a move for a forward. I hope they trade up into 10 or 11. Maybe hope someone. I don't know if TJ Gimlet. We talked about this. Berkeley Catton might be the biggest wild card of the draft class for me because I was reading this. It's like players in their draft eligible year in the CHL that have scored 50 goals and 150 points. It was like, I think Patrick Kane, I think John Tavares was there, Connor McDavid, Connor Bedard, and a list.
Good players, potentially?
All right. Yeah. But just another like he's not a giant guy, and that's probably what's going to hurt him. I think he's only 5'11", but again, just look down at skill. Yeah,
he's not big enough, guys. It's happened with Crystal last year. No,
but he's the biggest wild card for me because I think Montreal has interest in him at number 5. He is a center, but him being 5'11", him being shorter, I think there's also the possibility where he could fall outside the top 10. So. They might be there at 10 or 11, or maybe Cole Eiserman falls because he doesn't work hard off.
Eagard's an underrated pick from around that range.
There's gonna be a run on defenseman, or fucking hell, they could
Double
They could
dip.
go Ivan Demidov. Yeah, they could go Ivan Demidov at number 2, and like there's gonna be a defenseman there still. If I don't know if Yakimchuk's gonna fall in there, but like if Zane Perrick falls because of his size, could you imagine? Like there's such
Listen.
a possibility for Davidson to make a banger draft, is what I'm saying.
It's such a better draft to take a swing on a defenseman later than.
Mhm.
And I know next year's a heavy forward class, and like we'll know how they divvy up next year. Like there's already like 4 forwards I'd look at for the Hawks right now, and I'm like, if they can get them next year, that'd be awesome. But like, I don't know, man. You take Demidov, you get a chance of getting Yakimchuk, Juracek, or Emery. Like that's pretty solid. And like, I'll speak from example again. The Hawks teams that won all those cups did not have a number 2 pick defenseman. They didn't have that top defenseman. The best one draft wise, it was Seabrook. I think he got picked 13th.
Yeah, he was 13th or 14th. Yeah.
Well, if we want to get into it, you want a better example of why we shouldn't pick high? Cam Barker, guys. Come on. Like,
Yeah.
that's nothing against Cam Barker, but it's just like I can't stress this enough. And I've watched his games. I've watched his full breakdown. Like, Artem Zlevshunov seems like a stud. You better be damn sure this guy's a 1. You better be. And all the scouts keep saying he's either a 2 or a 3. I can't justify taking a number 2 defenseman second overall. I just can't. You better be damn sure this guy's a 1. That's all I got to say.
You gotta hope he's like Charlie McAvoy level.
Yeah, you better hope
If
he's
you get
here
that
next
number
year.
2, yeah.
Actually, McAvoy's more comp because it's right-handed. You're right, but you know what I mean. Because I don't think he has the offensive upside to be like an Adam Fox. You know what I mean?
Oh,
He's got the skating.
No.
Like he's a hell of a skater.
But Lev Shunov might score a goal in the playoffs.
Dude, I can't believe Adam Fox hasn't had a playoff goal in like 38.
Does he not have a career? He doesn't have a goal in the playoffs ever, right?
No, I think he's got 1.
Oh,
He just hasn't had one since like 2022.
Because I thought I saw he's never had one. I was like,
We're about to myth bust this right now.
Yeah.
Here we go. Adam Fox. Yeah, he had 5 goals in the 2022 playoffs.
Damn it!
I thought he had a pretty good playoff run that time.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, there's no way he has at least 1. I would think.
But also 8 points in 16 games. Like, what happened? Like, also, I can't really blame him. Like, he needs the forwards to score to get assists. But like, the Rangers got some questions to be answered this offseason. Don't mean to change the topic.
We can kind of talk about that. Do you kind of want to do? We talked about the Cup final. Do you kind of want to do a eulogy on the Rangers and the Stars?
I jinxed both of them.
Yeah, you did.
Don't worry, guys. I picked the Oilers and the Panthers. I jinxed both of them this time.
No one's gonna lose. Alberta and Florida are just gonna blow up. Everyone will be happy.
Thank God.
And I'll be dead.
Just don't blow up Tampa. Let my family leave before they blow that up.
Don't blow my one plot of land. That's my house. I'll be like the guy from Up. It'll just be me, and they'll build a whole new city around our house.
Let's go. Maggie's gonna have a statue. Get excited. But yeah, I mean, I think the best, like, this is why I have fear for Edmonton. Because you look at a team like New York that looked practically unstoppable before that series. And Florida just kind of punched them in the mouth, straight up. Defensively, offensively, I mean, besides goaltending, I mean, Igor stood on his fucking head. Igor did everything he could to try to win that series.
Dude, he has a 930. He has almost a 930 save percentage in his career in the playoffs. Like,
so and he's gonna be a UFA next year. Like, you better lock that dude up.
Dude, if he goes to free agency, throw the bag at him. Are you kidding me?
Mil at him. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Unless Comesso comes out and is a stud next year, or Guyan's a stud, like, dude, you can no reason not to throw the bag at that guy. His resume speaks.
And worst case scenario, he's like Sergei Bobrovsky. Oh no, we'll just go to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Yeah.
Win 2 Vezina trophies too. Oh no.
Yeah.
This is terrible, guys. Yeah, it was a series of, you could name the guys on 2 hands who didn't show up for the Rangers. Like, let's start. Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, ghosts. Adam Fox didn't play up to his potential. Panarin didn't play up to his potential. Trouba and Miller had a nightmare series. Ryan Lindgren, I don't know if he was playing through something, but he had a rough go too. But he always.
Oh, speaking of which, didn't Jacob Trouba have like a broken ankle or something?
Insane. Playing on a broken ankle. Yeah, no wonder he took a skate on the freaking Bennett goal. Like, he can't skate the other way, guys. He doesn't have another leg.
It's like, guys, I can't kind of skate. I can't really skate. I'm just gonna take the body, and yeah, look how well that worked out. Oh, that goal.
I think my favorite was I was listening to the Dangle podcast, and they were like, "Yeah, Gustafson kind of regressed," and I was like, "You're telling me he turned into a pumpkin? No way!" Oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before with him in the playoffs. It hasn't happened on 3 separate occasions, guys. Like, oh, jeez. It just shows kind of like the Rangers needed to, whatever it would have costed to get Jake Gensel, they should have done. They should have.
Yeah.
You were playing Alex Wenberg on the top line when you guys were losing the series.
Mm-hmm.
You needed to do more. And you had the picks to do more. Oh, wait, no, you didn't because, James Dolan wants to have his pick.
Well, you got to make the pick at the Sphere. I mean, I don't blame him.
I can't wait till they draft Michael Hayes. Let's go! Losers. Like, actual loser mentality. And when your owner is doing stuff like that, you cannot be surprised when your team doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
Sorry. And it sucks,
I
too,
said it, like...
Sorry.
I was going to say, you know what sounds better? Like, not having a first-round pick, like, second day of the draft, just, like, holding up your ring finger because you got a cup ring.
Yeah, what's better? Have your pick or have everyone in the Sphere kiss your ass like they were doing Vegas last year?
Oh, yeah.
Like, seriously. Ugh. Sorry, it's all right. I just hope when the Hawks are good, they don't have that approach.
Yeah.
Because, like, I will give Bowman, that's the one thing I'll give Bowman credit. He at least tried when that team was good.
Oh,
he would trade that first every year.
Yeah.
And when he didn't, he drafted Teuvo Teravainen. So, Mark Kelly's got one of the craziest draft resumes ever. Like, hit and miss. And his dying phrase was giving us Alex Vlasic.
Yeah, that was really their parting gift. I would even say Ethan Del Mastro as well.
Mm-hmm. Hell, even Comesso for that matter. But I mean, that's
one Kaiser too.
Like, that's one thing you couldn't really blame on the last regime. They knew how to assess talent. They just didn't know how to not speed run it.
Be trigger happy. Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Being trigger happy and trading them before their first contract is even up for. Yeah.
I really hope Reichel figures it out this year, man. It'd make this middle six situation so much easier to just say, oh, we could put Hall and Reichel wherever we want in the middle six, or Kurchev.
That's why just getting Jake Gensel would help so much. Like, it's basically like Reichel, you're not playing on the first slide, but like you're going to be playing with like Taylor Hall or whoever.
Taylor Hall and Frank Nazar is the all Nang line. Like, come on.
Nang.
All Nang, all speed. Like, what did Mitch Brown call Brown and Moore the Turbo Twins? Like, that's the Turbo Triplets right there. Holy shit.
That. Yeah.
And that's Taylor Hall coming off a knee injury, and he's still going to be fastest. One of the fastest players.
Fastest foot, boy. And Athanasio as well. He's a pretty fast dude.
Dude, that's another guy who's going to be a depth piece. Like, who's to say, like, if they're healthy next year, they should have 4 lines of competent hockey.
Mm-hmm.
If you played your cards right in the offseason. Because in theory, right now, you need 2 more forwards, you need 1 more defenseman, and you need a goalie.
Mm-hmm.
The levels of which you get those forwards, defenseman, and goalie is up to the management group.
Yep.
But there are names out there that could make substantial changes to this team, and it wouldn't cost as much as they would think. Like, you're telling me you can't give Chris Chan 5.5 times 2 just to stack your right side so, Lev Shinoff and all them get there?
Yeah.
And then when he does get there, trade Connor Murphy. Finally give him a chance to go play.
Or his contract. Though I don't think Lev Shinoff will. What is Connor
Lev Shinoff will be on the team next April. Not a doubt in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like a Nazar situation, I think. I think they give him 1 more.
Yeah.
Well, actually, here's the beauty if they do draft Lev Shinoff. You kind of get the flexibility to develop him how you please. Because if he signs immediately, you could throw him in Rockford for a year, which I think actually would benefit his game a little more.
Yeah, and he said in his interviews, I think, that like he's not fully committed to going back to Michigan. Like,
because Michigan State sucks.
Yeah, I should say Michigan State. Yeah,
it's him and Trey Augustine,
University
bro.
of Michigan. Yeah,
Also, like to point out that Celebrini said the toughest person he played last year was Lev Shunov as well, and that's been said by multiple people in NCAA that went up against him.
I think he said the toughest player he played against was Frank Nazar, which is funny.
Gotta love Frankie.
The best example of that is the Blackhawks drafting Adam Guyan after Bedard deked him out of his jock strap in the World Juniors, but like Guyan was so close to stealing that game anyways. Yeah.
Okay, that whole World Junior, if it wasn't for Bedard going ancient, would have been about him and Robble just going off for their countries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
still is, but Bedard breaking Lindros's records just a little bit bigger.
And who was he? Who was Eric Lindros? Anyways,
should have been a Blackhawk from all stories I hear. They were.
Is that a thing, or was that just
that's a very real thing? And
I want to hear that. Do you have the story?
I could give me. All right, we're gonna have to buy some time. I want to pull up the article so I don't misquote it.
But no, what kind of the we'll probably bring up.
Got it. Oh yeah, this would have been a fucking blockbuster. Listen to this.
Oh boy, let's go. So, was it when he didn't want to sign Quebec?
Yeah,
like this is early on,
this
right?
is when they would have gotten him when he just So this would have been their Quebec trade, dude. They were gonna trade Ed Belfour, Steve Larmer, and Steve Smith for. I hate Bill Warts, man. I hate Bill Warts. Imagine we were young as when we just get into hockey. It's the tail end of Lindros.
What year would that have been? 93? 92?
93, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Let me see. 25 years later. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, 93. 92, 93, around there.
Could you imagine you trade Belfour, but you keep
asking God, what a better way to respond to losing to Mario Lemieux than getting your own Mario Lemieux. Oh my bro. And then they would have had it with Roenick and Daze, bro. Would have been nasty. Would have been gross. And they still had Chelios.
Yeah, Lindros, Roenick, 1-2 punch. Yeah, good fucking luck with that. And they were still okay.
They were still great. They were good. They weren't great. Let me say it like that.
Yeah.
Because the teams that were great obviously won. But the 90s Hawks would have been in. My dad tells me that story at least once a year, and he's like, they should have had Lindros. And I
feel the 90s Hawks are what could have been.
Yeah, honestly. It's funny. The 90s Hawks almost, they're kind of what the Stars are turning into to an extent.
You know what I was going to say? The Stars remind me of the Lightning before they won in 2020 and 2021, because Stars lost in a cup final, so did the Lightning, and then Stars have lost in a couple of conference finals, and so did the Lightning, but then they won a Stanley Cup, but they also got swept in the first round by Columbus, so after winning 62 games. Yeah, it's hard to win, man. It really is. And I've said this, Stars are still set up to go for a while, but you only have so much time, man.
They're just lucky their core is getting younger. It's a rare case when you're getting good and your core gets younger.
Yeah.
I think the thing that benefited the Hawks was 2012, you could tell they were right on the cusp.
Yeah.
Dallas and Hawks didn't get younger. They just started hitting their prime. Dallas's guys, they have a generation of guys hitting their prime, and then they have a generation of 21-year-olds coming in that are just as good. It's not gonna be a fun team to play for the next decade.
It feels like they have three separate tiers of guys, because they have Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, we know, and then it was then they had that 2017 draft, Heiskanen, Robertson, and Andre, and I would even group Roope Henson there, and then they had the 2021 draft where you drafted Johnson, Stankoven, and they still have Maverick Bourque, they still have Liam Bixel. God damn it, I hate they're in the division. They're so good. They're gonna be good for a while. Oh, and Thomas Harley. How could I forget?
Yeah, Thomas Harley, who had a terrible playoff but had 15 goals in the regular season. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I'm really not worried about Dallas. I think they'll be back right at the same spot next year.
when the Hawks get good, it's still going to be the same two teams at the top. It's going to be them in Colorado. It's just I don't know how the rest of the division will stack by then, because the only thing the Hawks don't have going for them, the rest of the division does, is everyone's got an elite goalie, and it's except Colorado.
Yeah,
and it's kind of annoying. Or
yeah,
not.
it's Colorado.
If they don't have an elite goalie, they have one in the weights. So like
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota's got Wallstedt. Like, oh no, yeah, they're gonna lose Saros, but then they're gonna have Askarov in Nashville. Ugh, like I hate this division, dude. Like they literally, you know what? We did say it though when Bedard got drafted. It's like, what better counter to every team in the division?
Yeah, what better remedy? Yeah,
and Bedard's already got Hellebuck's number, so it's not impossible.
Yeah. He doesn't wear 37.
Yeah.
But then, like I've said this, so at counterpoint, like Aiden Hill won a cup, Darcy Kemper won a cup as a goalie. So.
Anthony Niemi won a cup.
Mm-hmm.
Cristobal Huet probably should have won a cup if he wasn't an idiot. I mean, yeah, like the last 5 years have proven that you don't need someone. Well, last 3 years have proven that, because Andre Vasilevsky is still really, really, really good. Don't really care what the stats say right now. The guy had pretty sure if I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure Vasilevsky had hip surgery as a goalie, which is not the easiest thing to come back from.
Vasilevsky is still on track to be a Hall of Famer. Like,
he's the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, 2 Stanley Cups, Vezina, Conn Smythe. I think he only has the one. He's gonna win another Vezina one time or another. He's that good.
If I'm reading this correctly, he had back surgery. So yeah, I'll give him a year to get back in shape as a goalie with back
in shape.
I think I've been like number one Vasilevsky defender on the show since I've gotten on it, like a couple years ago. Like I was fuming when he didn't win the Vezina over. They gave Fleury his Revenant Vezina.
Oh, that's a legacy pick.
So, like, I don't care what anyone says. You're like, this is the problem. Like, you look at the NBA does this a lot of the time. Like LeBron, in theory, should have like 8 MVPs. He does. He has like 3.
Oh, that's same. You can do that in the NHL with like Crosby and McDavid. Yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% right. McDavid should probably have 5 fucking Hart trophies right now. He's close, but he's shit.
We could even go back 15 years, and I should say, I don't think it was Henrik, but like the Sedin twins should both have Hart. I think Henrik won one, and then 2011 Daniel should have won it, but Corey Perry won it. So because voter fatigue is a thing, unless like you have 2 back-to-back just crazy seasons, and they can't deny. Like the media will look for any kind of narrative to be like, oh, okay, maybe they don't have many goals or points, but this player hasn't won it before, and they're like leading their team, kind of. You can look at any kind of narrative. You can make any kind of narrative you want for.
Oh, I'll make a narrative right now. Patrick Kane should be a back-to-back Hart Trophy winner. We're just not going to talk.
Yeah. I think that's
won in
different.
2015 if he didn't snap his clavicle. Well, actually,
I was going to say I think that's different.
But sorry.
I would argue that's different because of injury. Like, I think if he doesn't get it, he probably wins it. I mean, who fucking knows? But
he was leading the league in scoring.
Coulda.
And I know he could have got more than 87 points. What a sorry year for hockey. Good thing the Hawks won the cup to make up for that.
Yeah, I'm glad that era of hockey is over.
The Hawks closed that window of hockey with the 2015 cup. And then McDavid came in the league, and then Panarin came in the league, and no one really looked.
Yeah, a new wave of players came in because it was McDavid, Matthews came in, and then now we're seeing like more of that. Jack Hughes, Connor Bedard, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, McDavid has 3 Hart trophies. He should have 5. Actually, I'll even go on a limb to say he should have 6. Because I think he was better than Taylor Hall in 17-18.
Oh, I think that was the year where it's like, what the hell are we doing? Who cares if he didn't? He's clearly the best, but again, it's media narratives.
And call me a hater, but and I love the player, but he should have won over Matthews that year. I'm sorry, he had 153 points and didn't win. Like, what are we doing?
No, he won last. No, he won last. He
had 123 points and didn't win. Oh no! Only 79 assists and 44 goals, and he missed time. Judy.
Oh my lord.
I don't know, man. The more I look at this, more McDavid should have won. It's crazy. It's crazy. At least he won the COVID one where he had 100 points in 50 games.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, the Draisaitl one, he probably would have won if he did fucking 15 games.
Yeah, if he wasn't injured, he wins that one easily. Yeah.
Dude,
I remember
it's
the
not
stats.
crazy to think this guy could have 6. The only one that I can't say he would win was the one where
Kucherov. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it. That's it.
That's fair.
And then I guess this year. But, like, I don't know who's going to win it this year, personally. I feel like the Hart Trophy
Who
is
the
wide
fuck are
open.
the nominees even? Oh, it'd be Kucherov and McKinnon.
Yeah, Kucherov's probably getting a second. But McKinnon is fucking crazy. Like, that's a tough one.
And media, voter fatigue. McKinnon's never won before. He's been there. I think
McDavid's gonna lose another one because we need to give a Revenant trophy out. Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
Well, that happened with the Norse. That happened with Drew Doughty. He got his Revenant. Well, that's the same with Fleury winning over Vasilevsky too.
Like, think about this for a second. Sidney Crosby only has 2 Hart trophies.
That's crazy.
How?
And I'm pretty sure it's I'm pretty sure it's 2007 he won and 2014. Am I right?
Yep, 100% correct.
Bang, nailed it.
Real Sidney Crosby.
I know Ovechkin won in
Malkin's got
08
one.
because I know Ovechkin won in 08 because he had that was the year he had 65 goals. I think 09,
Ovi.
10 maybe. No, 10 would have been Henrik. 2013 he won. I think it's 08, 09, 13. Bang.
Yeah. Yep. Money.
Bang. Let's go. Woo.
What a crazy year. 05, 06, you could have really given it to Ovechkin or Crosby with Joe.
Oh, it's like Thornton had like almost 100 assists. I think Yager was crazy that year. We talked about this last podcast. Eric Stahl had 100. 05, 06 was crazy, but then it's like it kind of calmed down a bit after that in terms of offense.
Thornton gets traded to the Sharks, and in 58 games, he puts up 20 goals and 72 assists. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And he had
Jonathan
23 and 23 on Boston. Oh my god.
Made Jonathan Tichu a 56 goal scorer, I believe.
Jonathan Tichu better be sending him fruit baskets still. I got freaking millions of dollars because of Joe Thornton. And you could say that for a lot of players, honestly, but like Jonathan Tichu is just such a freaking crazy example of that.
He's the most random 50 goal scorer probably ever. Unless you're going back to maybe the 80s. Like even Zach Hyman.
No, he's not a 60, he's a 50. No, he's not 60.
Zach Hyman's better than Jonathan Tichu.
It's all around, yeah, for sure. Like career-wise, 100%. I'm just going through Hart Trophy winners now. That's crazy. Gretzky won like 7 straight at one point.
Oh, and
8 straight.
Yeah. It's like if you look at like the entire history of the award, I bet like it's probably at least half Penguins or Oilers players. Because the Oilers, it's all I think it was all Gretzky, and then the Penguins, it was either Lemieux or Yager won quite a few, I think. Oh no, I'm thinking Art Ross. Either way, like Oilers and Penguins have been blessed with some hella talent, like over the past 40 years.
Oh hell yeah! And the Hawks are going to be too in the next 20 years.
I was looking at like just out of curiosity how well like the 80s Oilers played. The Blackhawks, like I think they got to the conference finals a few times, and of course they lost every time because they ran into the Oilers. The Oilers could have won 5 Stanley Cups in a row, but I think it was Steve Smith put in his own net against the Flames, and then Patrick Waugh, as a 20-year-old, beat them in the final.
Pierce, I can't even, like, you want to talk about, like, this is how I know the old Blackhawks teams are good. Because when my dad and I were bored, he'll pull up, like, a full game of Hawks Oilers from the 80s. And I'll watch it. I'll be like, man, Savard, Secord, Larmer, they got dogs on this team. Doug Murray, or, I can't speak. But, Troy Murray, Daryl Sutter was on those teams. Like, they had some crazy teams. And then you just watch Gretzky and Curry and Coffey all just blast up the ice. Messier's on the second line. You're just like, this is how some teams probably felt when the Hawks played them. Except it's just a whole nother level of dominance with the Oilers. Like, the Hawks would put up 5 goals and they'd still lose 9-5. It's insane, dude.
Losing 9-5.
And my dad says it every time. He's like, the Hawks would have a cup if it's not for Gretzky in the 80s because they had teams that were capable of winning Stanley Cups. It's just, you run into the brick wall every time. It's unfortunate.
But the Blackhawks were not alone in that. Like the Flames probably could have had a couple cups. I mean, they won one in '89. I think Montreal was at a different conference, but yeah, it's crazy that they were able to like squeak a cup kind of in between that. Yeah,
that's how Vancouver felt all those years.
Vancouver, I think, you would have to go look at what teams weren't a victim of that and were just so bad and avoided that altogether. Because there was probably most teams that pretty much every team that made the playoffs in the 80s were victimized by either the Islanders.
I was talking about
Oilers.
the Canucks getting victimized by the Hawks, but
yeah, that too.
Minnesota Wild. I don't think they had a team capable of winning a cup, but
the Wild are the ultimate, because at least Vancouver beat us once. Yeah, the Wild, nothing. Like they won 3 games against us in 3 years.
Nothing made me more satisfied than seeing everyone pick the Wild in 2015 and they fucking swept. It's like they hadn't beaten Devin Dubnyk yet. Well, Devin Dubnyk meet Marcus Kruger in the low slot. Meet Brandon Saad 20 seconds into the fucking game. Meet Patrick Kane. Sorry.
I was going to say, maybe my memory is foggy on account of that's almost 10 years ago, but I feel like every series, like Nashville, there was doubts on whether
they were the underdog every series. It's my favorite cup for that reason.
Yeah, but I don't remember the Wild ever being a series like where it's like, oh well, I feel it was still pretty favorable for the unless it was different. I don't remember.
In the States, dude, they were all picking.
That might be why.
They're like, this is the year they get over the hump. They're gonna win in 7. They're gonna find a way. Patrick Kane's not 100% healthy yet. Has 5 goals in 4 games.
Yeah.
Or 4 goals in 4 games, I think.
Because that was the one series where I'm like, yeah, they got this. Like, there's not even a doubt in my mind.
I was worried up until Saad scored 20 seconds into game 1. Now I was like, yeah, all right, they woke up. They figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
They
beat Devin Dubnyk. Yeah.
Oh,
I love that we got on this tangent. I would have had it any other way.
One of the most satisfying. Crawford almost getting back-to-back shutouts in that series up until the Hawks decided to let in 3 goals in game 4 in the final 3 minutes and give everyone a heart attack. But
yeah,
game 2 against the Wild is literally one of it's like a legacy Hawks win because it's like Taves scored
all the top dogs.
Yeah, all the top dogs scored, and Crawford stood on his goddamn head. Like
only like a Matt Dumba piss missile beat them. I'm pretty sure.
Yep, and that's understandable because Dumba was good back then.
Yeah.
Good times. And then they couldn't withstand that many hits. They couldn't. Cup final. I'm not gonna talk a lot of crap on because that's more John Cooper not trusting Vasilevsky.
And Vasilevsky, and they won that. They played him. What? I don't think they started him, but
game
he
4.
played in parts of 2. Yeah, I know he played game 4, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, did he play parts in game 3? I can't remember.
He played part of game 2.
Yeah.
I think game 5 he came in briefly because Bishop got
destroyed by Hedman.
I was at that
game, dude.
I've been in a lot of great games. I think the two most iconic games I've been, or 2 most iconic games in terms of moments: Ovechkin scoring on his back, and then that. Just the burst of laughter my dad and I had as soon as they ran into each other. It had to be Hedman too. It had to be Hedman. It really had to be him. The biggest dude on the ice. The 2 biggest dudes on the ice, for being honest. Bishop's 6'6". Oh man. Yeah. Good time.
Got 13 feet of human body colliding each other and probably 450 pounds maybe.
Dude, and the guy who gets the goal is someone who was getting robbed all series in Patrick Sharp. This dude hit 3 posts in game 4 alone. Needed that one. That was a series where that third line, the Vermette trade was valuable just from that series alone. Taves and Kane were getting locked the fuck up that series up until game 4. Good times. That's my favorite cup win by far.
Yeah,
The fact that I could pick a favorite is still ridiculous, but
yeah. I mean, 3 cup. They could have won 1 cup, and that would have been good enough for a lifetime to see a sports team win a championship. But like 3 cups were good for a lifetime. If they win and like if they win 1 with Bedard, I'm happy.
that's all I
It's
want.
so hard to win. It's so hard to
I
win.
more want a Super Bowl with the Bears than the cup with the Hawks, but I'd rather the Hawks just be good. Because I could deal with them like not winning if they're just winning a bunch in the regular season. Like, which sounds crazy, but like, I don't know.
I remember kind of talking about that. It's such a philosophical one because it's like, would you rather what the Hawks did? I mean, 3 Stanley Cups, that's probably what you prefer, but the best alternative would be like what the Bruins did. Yeah, you only won 1 Stanley Cup, but you went to 3 in total, and you've been a continually winning team over 15 years. I think you got a President's Trophy, and there are multiple division titles. Like, what would you prefer? Because I even asked that question. I'm like, I'd probably still take the 3 cups.
Still taking 3 cups, not a doubt in my fucking
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like I still want a cup with Bedard. And if you don't win a cup with Bedard, it's a failure. But
it's a failure. 100%. Yeah.
But I have more patience with this one than I would if they didn't. Like the Hawks still had their 60. This would be 60-something year drought now if they had won. Yeah, I think that changes a couple things, but you know, they have the luxury of winning multiple times in our lifetime, and we can be patient with that.
I was thinking about that when the Blackhawks made the Cup final in 2010. They went, I think, 18 years and cut between Cup finals, but that's the same amount of time that the Oilers have gone in between. And granted, like obviously,
it's happening.
Yeah, obviously,
they're winning
the
game 1
Oilers
7-6, or whatever the hell.
Oh my! That 2010 Cup.
Sorry,
it was 6-5. I think you're pretty close. I'm pretty sure it was 6-5. Game 2 was 2-1. Game 3, 4-3 in overtime. Claude Giroux overtime winner. Game 4, 5-3. Game 5, 7-4. That was the crazy one.
Game 5
Game 6.
Game 5 was literally Dustin Buffwood spanking Chris Pronger. It was awesome. And then Game 6, yeah, heart attack. Good one.
Well, I mean, Marian Hossa back-to-back Stanley Cup finals already lost, and then the goal goes in off of him.
God,
Doc Emmerich saying, "And went in off of Hossa." Yeah. I wish it weren't tainted, man.
Dude, I remember my heart sinking when that happened. I was like, it really was Hossa.
I think I was too young to feel like that, because once 2013 hit, I was feeling 2015 probably took years off my life, but like 2010, I'm just like, oh, this is kind of I think I was too young to kind of understand it. The magnitude of what was happening. I was
starting to understand it. I was not having a good time at that moment. I also was the only one in the house that thought the puck went in. So that was fun. And then we got to go to Sports Authority and get hats that night. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
Because I was 10 and I couldn't go flip cars in the city like everyone else. That's the only thing I think I want. I want them to win now because I'm an adult. So I can actually go fly out there and celebrate with them. Because I never got the privilege of doing that. And I'm extremely bummed that I never got to. Because it could have been a possibility. Like I could have been.
I would do the same too if they won again. And I feel definitely as an adult I would appreciate it way more.
I'm gonna be like Oli Mata when they won the 2017 Cup. We pass out of the Bud Light.
Yeah, out on the balcony.
But
fun fact: 2017. So Carter Rowney, who was on the team, he was a deaf guy. I don't think he played much. He's from I don't think he's from Grand Prairie, Alberta, which is where I'm from. But he was born outside the city. I got to see him raise a Stanley Cup. I would have to see if I got pictures of that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm assuming this. I'm reading the same thing as you just did.
Yeah, we want to talk about that because that's not what I expected to come out of Bettman's mouth. What the heck? Okay.
Bettman and his redemption arc. Do you want to read it or do you want me to?
I'll read it. So it just got. This was like an hour ago, but it was during Bettman's press conference that Pierce was talking about earlier.
I think it's still happening.
Okay, there we go. But they asked him about Joe Quenneville and Stan Bowman's status with the league, and he just went bluntly, they're both not eligible. They both reach out to seek opportunity to come back. It's something I have to consider. I didn't think he'd just out say that they're not eligible, because I feel like he tiptoed around this a year ago. So it's nice to see Bettman grow a pair of balls. I don't know.
It's nice to have like a backbone on something that matters. Like those people should not be around the game of hockey. I don't know if you read the article with Mike Babcock. Like we all knew he's awful, but like, oh, he should not be allowed near hockey. And I think it's gone around. Like no one even wants to hire him. But I feel teams were like, oh, but 3 Stanley Cups. We got to get one of those on our team. And it's nice to see the commissioners be like, no, like I'm putting my foot down. It's not happening. Good. Fucking finally. Grow pair balls.
Seriously.
Grow backbone. Good.
I love how we both read that tweet at the same time and just went silent. We were just like,
yeah, we're just like,
okay.
That just happened.
Yeah. He's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. They flying out.
They flying out. They flying out. Ryan from The Boys, I need you to distract Kang. That's my favorite. I don't care how old that meme gets. I laugh every time. There's some new meme or some new character gets announced, and they're like, blah, blah, blah. I need you to distract Kang. And it's fucking Paul Rudd talking. It makes me pop every time.
This thought just popped in my head. I mean, it sounds crazy, but what if we did not watch The Boys at all and saved it until Vegas and then watched it together?
I'll save it till Vegas. I'm
down to do it too.
Some stuff spoiled. I'm gonna have to mute some stuff on Twitter because it will get spoiled.
Yeah,
for me. My Twitter.
I mean, if you watch,
oh, sorry.
I was gonna say like I'm committed to it, but if you do watch it, I'm not gonna blame you, and then I'll just be like, okay, I'm gonna watch it now too. But
I'll watch it.
You would have to let me know that. But like, I'm totally
really depends. Like work has consumed me a lot lately, so I might just miss it. Like I still haven't watched the second episode of Acolyte yet. Like, dude, this job is maybe not the.
I was gonna say, I guess you're pretty busy anyway, so. Yeah.
Like I haven't seen a movie in theaters since Dune, and it makes me sad. I haven't seen a new movie since Challengers a couple weeks ago. It's all right though, for long-term goals.
Yeah. I love how we went on a really big tangent there. Let's get on to a new topic. Rick Ball replacing Chris Vosters as the Blackhawks play-by-play guy. Wait, I feel like I think the funniest thing, and I feel so bad for Chris Vosters because he seems like a great guy, and from everything we heard from all the beat writers, like he was always around the rink. He's very friendly, cordial to all the players. All the people that work for the Blackhawks, and like I wish him the best. I hope you texted me this. I think he would be perfect for college hockey, just to kind of work and hone on his craft.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been the guy to replace Pat Foley. Let's just put it that way.
In a way, it's kind of like the Blackhawks replacing Quenneville with Colleton. You were set up for failure from the start. Mm-hmm.
Like they did that way,
but also good on them for not dragging it out as long as that was, and getting someone who is very respected and liked, like Rick Ball, being in Canada, being in Western Canada. He's called the Flames games, I think, for the past 10 years. So he's been there for a while. Like he's done a bunch of work. I think he's done some CFL. Let's go. And I think he's done some work for the WHL. So like he's done multiple sports, and he'll have, I think, a better camaraderie with someone like Darren Pang. And I just feel like they didn't have much chemistry, Chris Vosters and Darren. I love Darren Pang so much. And Chris Vosters, like, again, seems like a great guy. I just hope wherever you go, like you'll get a play-by-play job soon in the future. Like I'm pretty sure he's young enough. Like, yeah,
right.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know what else to say to that.
You have to improve.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's just what it comes down to.
And the point I wanted to make earlier is that I think the Athletic released their article of ranking the top broadcasts in the NHL like 32-1. Could you guess who's last place? It wasn't the Blackhawks.
Last place? Oh. Are they haters? Because if they're haters, it's Colorado or Boston. But
second one, bingo.
It's Boston.
Yeah.
That's funny. I was like, if they're haters, it's one of those two. But I think there's worse ones out there.
I think Detroit was number one because I know that I think it's
Goated.
Ken Daniels and Mickey Remit. Like
Goated.
they're beloved. Yeah,
Kraken
I like
should be
them
up
too.
there. Thorson and Eddie Olczyk.
Yeah, I think Kraken was number 2. Yeah.
Goated pairing. And honestly, Rick Ball and Darren Pang's gonna be a great pairing.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. It's
The Rick Ball signing is a definition of a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Like not the guy I had in mind, but also very good. So I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who can keep up with the puck when it's in play. Like I love, like I know Chris Foster's probably a great person, but he couldn't keep up with the puck. And
like I was gonna say, like, mispronouncing names, like at the end of the day, it's not that huge of a deal, but it's like for me, if you can't pronounce the name right or like know which player's which or where the puck is going, like how can I trust you to, call a game? Like if you can't do the little things, why should you be able to like call like potential big goals? Again, I wish them the best, but Rick Ball and Darren Pang is gonna be so much more fun to watch, or I should say listen to.
Rick Ball.
It'll be more fun to watch because the Blackhawks are better. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. Bedard to Gensel goal, and we're gonna hear it from Rick Ball. Get excited, Hawks Nation.
And like, yeah, there's guys out there. I think we talked about this a couple podcasts ago.
John Force was on the market.
Bob was shishing, but like Rick Ball, you can't go wrong. And I think the ultimate like badge of honor is that Calgary fans are like really disappointed that he's gone and haven't heard a bad thing about him. Seems like a great guy. So yeah.
Agreed.
Looking forward to it. I really am. Like being in Western Cat. I haven't watched too many Flames games, but I like the way he calls the game. I'm looking forward to it. I think you'll have really good chemistry with Pang.
Same here.
And even
sorry.
Just to wrap that up, like he said, like, oh, he couldn't pass up this opportunity, like getting to go to original 6 team in Chicago and getting to call Bedard games. So
oh yeah, it's a hell of an opportunity for him as well, and it's well earned. I mean, I can think of at least a dozen calls on my head for starting with the Game 7 call he had for Calgary 2 years ago. Like this is a guy who knows how to call big games, keep up with the play, which is my number one thing. And yeah, he holds that professionalism too, which should be good because like that'll be a good balance with Pang. So I'm excited. I don't know how else to put it. I just hope he's calling Jake Gensel goals next year. That'd be fun.
Yeah, don't we all?
Or Jake DeBrusk goals. I'll take that too.
I mean, give us one of the Jakes. We'll be fine.
Just give me Jake, guys. Not Jake from State Farm, please. But yeah.
That's just gonna be the name of the podcast. Jake! Kind of on the topic of like broadcasting and things of that nature. Amazon and the documentary from Amazon is coming out this fall, and we know the players, and of course, naturally, I don't have them pulled up at the moment, but 3 of them are still playing right now. I think they're doing one on Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Matthew Tkachuk. I think they're doing the one I found interesting is they're doing one for Gabriel Landeskog. So like, I like the variance we'll get there with like, you got 3 guys in the Stanley Cup final, but then you got a guy who hasn't played the year, and then I think Jeremy Swayman, David Pasternak, and then Quinn Hughes and Jack Eichel. Those would be interesting to see as well. I don't think I'm missing anyone else. I'm gonna double check and see if I can find the tweet. I don't think I can. No.
I think my favorite was them showing like.
Guys.
I think my favorite was them showing like Matthew Tkachuk, Connor McDavid. Or I think it was Matthew Tkachuk, Draisaitl, and someone else. They all look like super normal. And then Quinn Hughes is sitting there and he's just like, I'm going to kill myself right now.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes is literally Jeremy Allen White, but a hockey player. It's my favorite thing ever. Like, think of Carmi from The Boys. That's Quinn Hughes, but for fucking cooking.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
100%.
I just know when like the Canucks lost Game 7, Quinn Hughes has probably had the most lifeless look in his eyes, and everyone was like, "Do we need to get help for him?" It's like, no, that's just his face, sir.
No, yeah, but that's my face, sir.
Love Quinn Hughes. We were one pick
he's
away,
so
man.
good. Should have been a Hawk, but
we were one pick away from our Duncan Keith replacement.
Well, at least they didn't pass up anyone else that's been good. And then
we didn't pass up the Seabrook clone, right? They definitely didn't do that.
They could have got Bouchard. They could even go. I've been a
you know what?
a Noah
You know-
Dobson fan.
you know-
Mike muted.
I got a thing for Davidson. Don't pull an Adam Boquist if you're going to pick a defenseman. Because I'm sorry,
Mhm.
there were 3 defensemen that were worth picking in that class, and he didn't get actually 4 if you count Darlene. But Darlene was like different.
Yeah, they were.
But you know what I mean? It's just like
Mhm.
that was such a good defenseman class, and you picked the worst one. And it's nothing against Boquist. He's not even bad. He's just not elite. Like, ugh.
Yeah. It's just whenever I think of like, I'm not that great. Like when I've covered the drafts, I'm like, I'm not super great at this. But then when I see that kind of stuff, where I'm like, I've been right on players more often than not. Like that draft, I always think of the 2021 class with Logan Stankoven, and I'm just like, of course he's not going to go in the top 10, top 15, even top 20, but like team could snag him up. The Blackhawks will pick number 32 and he'll be a great player. I just think if the Blackhawks picked Stankoven, I mean, for one thing, it would have made that night better with Seth Jones. And could you imagine Logan Stankoven stepping into this lineup with Connor Bedard? Oh,
By the way,
yeah.
I just got another interesting tidbit. I don't know if you saw this earlier today. Did you see the thing Celebrini said in his interview?
No, what did he say?
So Macklin Celebrini, he got asked about whether he would return to school next year. This was the quote. It would give me a little bit more time to develop. There's never really a shame or there's nothing wrong with taking your time. It just is improving a little bit more, getting stronger, getting bigger, getting faster. So I feel like in those ways, another year would benefit me to get more physically ready. I just want to make sure that I'm physically fit and strong before I try to make the jump. This sounds like a guy who does not want to go to San Jose next year.
Rough.
At least next year.
He is right. He is right, though. Yeah. Yeah.
He's ready to go. He's ready to go.
I know he is, but like it wouldn't be the way. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a biased hater, but I don't think he's saying that if the Hawks have number 1. Let's just put that.
Oh
way.
no!
I don't
I
think
mean,
he's dodging playing with Bedard. Like,
dude, I was gonna say that for one thing, you're playing with Connor Bedard. Yeah, that
don't
is
know, man.
very interesting.
that's a very interesting quote to me. That, well, for one,
You're
San Jose's in the same position Chicago's in. They need more. I think he just watched what Bedard went through last year, and he's like, I can go play on a stack BU team for a year.
No, well, that's my thinking is that they're still going to be very good. So like, enjoy one more year. Yeah, you're probably good to go, but enjoy one more year of being on a winning team. It might be few more years till you experience that again.
Yeah. If I'm Will Smith, I'm pissed.
I didn't even think of that. Oh,
I mean,
no.
granted, he could probably go to the Barracuda and he'll be fine, but like,
Yeah. And who knows? He does end up signing, and this is all a mute point, but that is
Probably does. Like, let's be honest,
Mhm.
but like, it is interesting that
Interesting.
he brings that up in the first time he's talking to the media.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
It gives you pause for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you see? I'm pretty sure it was said that Utah was the team who did that, but they asked some prospects like what their Uber score was and their Snapchat score.
This is why
I'm pretty sure Montreal's a team that asks every year, like, what animal would you be? I think it was Celebrini who said that, but he said like, oh, I'd be an octopus because I'm slippery and I can get through everything.
I love that.
And which is interesting.
What
No, it might
animal
even
would
been
you be,
Berkeley
Pierce?
Catton. What animal would I be? Well, I would be a moose because I'm just such a big boy and I run over everyone.
I don't even know what animal I'd be. I mean, I'd love to be a snow leopard. That's my favorite animal, but probably something bigger.
That or a polar bear. Yeah.
I'm a big old grizzly bear. Jesus. But it really just shows how stupid some of those questions are that they ask at the combine. Like, I know you do it to throw off the draftee,
Yeah.
see how their brain handles like adversity, see how they handle like a situation they're not prepared for. Like, I get it, but also like some weird shit they asked.
I always think of Kirby Doc talking about how Steve Yzerman was like, "Do you smoke pot?"
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh, Dude, this is the problem, dude. Like, if Doc didn't get rushed, he had such a personality. Still does. He's
Yeah.
just in Montreal now. He can't use that
Mhm.
personality because he doesn't speak French. But
Mm. Maybe he's learning with his time off with his surgery. Maybe he's doing
that time.
Duolingo. Yeah.
Wonder if Jared Tenorti sent him a basket of fruit.
Oh no.
Please,
I
Jared,
liked
go play for the Habs.
I liked what I heard from Lev Shunoff. Like, he seems like a low key, like, funny guy who's loose with a good
Perfect.
sense of humor.
Perfect balance to Bedard being very stoked.
Yeah. He just seems so goofy and whimsical.
He just like me for
I
real.
like
Also,
that.
he's like looks like a 30-year-old man. But we're just not going to talk
Oof.
about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like to comment on appearances, but yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Well, no, I
Um,
just think that he's physically mature for his age. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's a
what
good
you're
point.
talking about, but I just meant it like that. Like, he's already 205 pounds as an 18-year-old.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that's-
and he's like 6'2", I think. Yeah, like
yeah, dude.
with
Like,
him, he could probably even jump into the NHL and be just fine. But I think if the Blackhawks do pay, I still like that of the Blackhawks picking him and then putting him through Rockford. I think honestly that could be the best.
dude, they'll
I mean, it
finally
wouldn't be
get
bad if he went
control
back
of
to
the
college,
prospect.
but yeah. Mhm.
They'll finally get the control of the prospect that they've always wanted. Because a lot of the times
Yeah.
they draft a guy out of the O or something like Korchinski, and Korchinski has to play up in the NHL. Like, I think if the Hawks could have had what they wanted, Korchinski would have been in Rockford last year.
Oh, easily,
yeah.
no questions. I've brought that up on the show. It's a stupid fucking agreement.
It's the
where you
dumbest
gotta be
role
playing
ever,
with-
dude.
yeah.
We've been fucking suffering from it for 5 years. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't mean to start swearing like a sailor, but it's just like we had this issue with Doc and
Fuck, shit,
Boquist. We're
fuck,
seeing it again with Korchinski. Like, ugh. It's
There's still a chance
frustrating.
Korchinski could go back down to Rockford next year, and I don't think that would be the worst thing to
I
do.
don't think it would be if he has a rough go to start the year. No, this like we have enough depth on the left side where you can give
Yeah.
him a stint there.
Mhm.
It's just like
We've just seen.
I wish you could set him there as a 19-year-old man. Like Shane
Mhm.
Wright's going through this right now, bro.
Mhm.
His whole development's been skewed.
Right now. Ha, 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 ha. Oh.
But
But we've seen what Rockford's done, like what they've done in Rockford. Like so far, it's so good. I mean, Vlasic's the best one. Kaiser went back down there for a bit, and he looked way better when he came up. Ethan Delmasher had a great year. Like, do that with a guy with the skill set of Lev Shunoff. Like, I mean, hell, he could be like up on the team halfway through the season if he gets off to a good start. Yeah, I think I'm at the point. I'm pretty sure they're gonna go Lev Shunoff. I think Demidov is going to Florida, and Kyle Davidson will meet with him and a bunch of other teams. I think Lev Shunoff said Chicago's the only team that's taken him out to dinner. So, yeah, as it stands right now, I think they do go Lev Shunoff, and from pretty much like every prospect writer, and I think Scott Powers even said like it sounds like they're leaning Lev Shunoff too. But yeah, man, go get a Jake Gensel, go get a Jake DeBrusk, trade up to 10 or 11, maybe get a Cole Iserman. Like there's ways for this to be a banger of a draft in an off season for Kyle Davidson. And man, like in a month, like everyone's gonna be at their cottage, so it's such a small, window of opportunity. So
my
I
whole
guess we're
thing
gonna
is
see.
like, you can't really mess this draft up unless you go way off the board.
No.
Like,
They would have to go because even if they went Lindstrom or Silyev, like it wouldn't be my favorite, but I'd be like, I get it why they would do that. But yeah, anyone outside those four players, and it doesn't sound like they're going to anyways.
well, I
Yeah.
have heard the Sam Dickinson dark horse in there too. So
I don't think that happens. I don't. If they do, then
I hope not.
I don't know.
I think 18.
We'll come up with something.
18 is the one I'm more concerned with what they do, personally. But 2, I'm not worried about. Like, I obviously I have my opinions on who I want. I think we've all made that clear. But I've also made the point that like if they develop Lev Shunoff properly, they're not an issue in the world with taking him at 2. You just need him to be a 1. That's where I get stuck on.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you take that risk and he's a 2, and he's a good 2, don't get me wrong. Let's say like I don't know who's a really good number 2 defenseman that's right-handed in the league. Like we'll go out like let's say he's like Alex Pietrangelo light. It's like okay, that's great. If Ivan Demidov turns out to be 100-point player, you're going to be
Yeah, if you got
making that
Kaprizov,
decision every day.
yeah.
He
I
needs to
agree.
be your Miro Haskin. He needs to be your Charlie McAvoy. And if you think he can be that, take that shot. You have earned the benefit of the doubt with how he's drafted. It's just better be damn sure of that decision. Because I
He
think,
needs to be your horse.
yep, he better be the guy that can play 27 minutes a night when Seth Jones can't do it. Because
Mhm.
if you pass up on a 100-point player for Bedard, I think that's just such a fucking hard pill to swallow because you're never
Yeah.
going to get a shot at a player like that again, unless they're dog water in the next 2 years. Which, like, knowing the Hawks, they'll be bad and get Gavin McKenna in 3 years, and then everyone will get pissed. But like,
Let's go. It's still a possibility.
situation. I don't want to be in that situation. But yeah, like we keep talking ourselves in circles, but like we'll know what happens on draft night. I think either way, our draw is going to hit the floor, unless it's Demidov. Then you and I are going to start fucking screaming like hyenas. But actually, if it's Caden Lindstrom, I'm going to take my shirt off and start screaming like a hyena.
Wave it around, yeah.
No! Never a doubt. I'd literally be like,
You just like rip off your shirt. You got like a tattoo of like, let's go.
Dude, I'd literally be like the guy from draft day. I'd have the sign that says Caden Lindstrom no matter what. Oh man, I'm excited though. Less than 3 weeks away.
I can't fucking believe that, dude. That's crazy. Yeah.
We got everything booked. We got the tickets. We're ready to go.
Oh, we're yeah. All right. I think we can end the podcast off. The game is probably gonna start in like I would think 10-15 minutes. So get this out quickly.
Going on.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do 20 anthems. Sorry.
Yeah. So thank you all for tuning in. Give us a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, might be Google Podcasts, might even be Amazon, whatever the hell you're listening to us on. If you're watching us on YouTube, watching our beautiful, gorgeous faces on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Peace out.